Midnight is supposed to mean something. It's that quiet line between yesterday and tomorrow. The moment people make promises or pretend their past doesn't exist. I didn't plan to be watching my ex propose to another woman at midnight, but there I was, sitting alone in my apartment, lights off, phone glowing in my hand. And when he dropped to one knee, smiling like he had never hurt anyone in his life, my chest didn't break. It went cold. Because while everyone around him was cheering, while fireworks exploded behind them, while his new girlfriend covered her mouth and cried happy tears, I remembered the video. The one he begged me to delete. The one he forgot still existed. And in that moment, as the countdown hit 0, I made a decision. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to warn anyone. I wasn't going to beg for closure. I was going to let the truth speak, at the exact moment it would hurt the most. But to understand why I waited, you need to know how I became invisible to him in the first place. We were together for 4 years. Not the loud kind of love. Not the dramatic kind. The everyday kind. Morning coffee. Late night grocery runs. Socks mixed in the laundry. He used to say, "You're my safe place," and I believed him. I believed him when he said he hated lies. I believed him when he said he wanted forever. I believed him when he said, "I'd never hurt you like that." Looking back, I realize something now. People don't always change. Sometimes they just stop pretending. The first crack was small. He started guarding his phone. Not hiding it, just angling it away. Then came the busy nights. The sudden meetings. The new people I never met. When I asked, he smiled and said, "Why are you acting like this?" And somehow, I apologized. That's how it starts. Not with betrayal, but with you doubting your own instincts. The night I found the video wasn't dramatic. No screaming, no catching him in bed with someone else. Just a sound, a notification. And a mistake he never knew he made. His phone buzzed while he was in the shower. I wasn't snooping. I wasn't suspicious. I was just sitting on the bed, folding laundry when his screen lit up. A video preview. A woman's laugh, not mine. I froze. Something in my body knew before my mind did. I shouldn't have tapped it. But I did. And suddenly, there he was. My boyfriend. In another apartment. Another woman sitting on his lap. His voice clear as day. "Don't worry, she doesn't know anything. I just need time." The woman laughed and said, "What about your girlfriend?" And he answered, smiling, "She's just temporary." I don't remember breathing after that. I don't remember crying. I remember saving the video. Because something inside me whispered, "You're going to need this." When he came out of the shower, towel around his waist, smiling like everything was normal, I looked at him and realized something terrifying. I didn't recognize him anymore. I didn't confront him that night. That's the part people don't understand, sometimes the strongest move is silence. I didn't confront him the next day. Or the day after that. I stayed. And that confused him more than anger ever could. He expected tears. He expected questions. He expected me to break. Instead, I smiled. I cooked dinner. I laughed at his jokes. I listened when he talked about his day. And inside, something in me went silent. Because once you hear the truth said out loud, once you hear someone call you temporary, you don't unhear it. He started pulling away faster after that. Like he sensed something had changed, but couldn't figure out what. He stopped saying we, stopped making plans. Stopped pretending. One night, while scrolling on his phone, He casually said, "I think I need space, not we need space." "I need space," I nodded. That scared him. He waited for a reaction. I gave him none. That's when he knew, not consciously, but deep down, that he was losing control of the story. Her name started showing up everywhere, on his Instagram likes, on tagged photos, on stories posted late at night. She was beautiful, the kind of beautiful people notice right away, bright smile, confident poses, perfect captions about new beginnings, and suddenly, I was being erased in real time. He didn't break up with me right away. He just faded, came home. Later texted less. Stopped asking if I was okay. Then one evening, he sat across from me and said, "I think we've grown apart," for years reduced to one sentence. No apology. No explanation. Just distance served cold. 2 weeks later. He was officially with her. 2 weeks, and that's when I understood something important. I wasn't replaced, I was rehearsed. The message came on a random Tuesday night. Not from him, from her. "Hey, I know this is awkward, but I wanted to ask, did he ever lie to you?" I stared at the screen for a long time. This was the moment most people rush. The moment to expose. To send everything. To burn it all down. But I didn't. I replied with one line, "Why do you ask?" She said, "He says you were toxic. That you were jealous. That you didn't trust him." I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I looked at the video again. Listened to his voice. Watched his smile. And I realized something powerful. If I send it now, it would be chaos. But if I waited, if I let him build his perfect image, if I let the world celebrate him, then the truth wouldn't just hurt. It would collapse everything. So I replied, "He never lied to me. I hope he makes you happy." That's when I started planning, not revenge driven by anger, but revenge driven by timing. Waiting is harder than acting. Anyone can explode. Anyone can send a message they'll regret. But waiting takes control. I didn't block him. I didn't unfollow either of them. I watched. Not obsessively. Not emotionally. Carefully. I learned their rhythm. When they posted. Who they tagged. Where they went. I noticed something interesting. He had changed, but not in the way people grow. He was performing. Every picture was loud happiness. Every caption was perfect timing. And then the signs appeared, wedding pages, ring ads, midnight countdown stories. That's when I understood. He wasn't just moving on. He was rewriting history. And rewriting history requires witnesses. Midnight isn't random. It's symbolic. People forgive things at midnight. They promise things at midnight. They believe lies at midnight. That's why he chose it. A public place. Friends around. Phones recording. A perfect moment. And a dangerous one. Because when truth interrupts celebration, it doesn't whisper. It echoes. I checked the laws. The rules. The risks. The video was legal. My name wasn't in it. My voice wasn't in it. Just as clear, unedited. Undeniable. I didn't want drama. I wanted clarity. I didn't send the video anonymously. I didn't leak it online. I did something smarter. I saved it to a cloud account. Shared access, one link. Scheduled. Midnight sharp. To her. To him. And to myself. No captions. No threats. Just the truth arriving on time. I didn't want to ruin a proposal. I wanted to correct a story. The night before, I slept better than I had in months, because for the first time since the betrayal, I wasn't reacting, I was choosing. The place was packed. Lights everywhere. Music loud enough to drown out thought. I wasn't there. That's important. I wasn't hiding behind a corner or watching from a distance. I was at home. Sitting on my couch. Phone on the table. Clock on the wall. Because real power doesn't need front row seats. On social media, I watched it happen. Live videos. Stories loading in real time. Him standing in the center, her beside him, dressed perfectly, smiling like the future had finally arrived. Someone shouted, 10. The crowd joined in. 9, 8, 7. He raised his hand for silence. My phone vibrated once, a scheduled notification. Everything was on time. 3, 2, 1. Cheers exploded. Fireworks lit the sky. He dropped to one knee. Pulled out the ring. The crowd screamed before he even spoke. She covered her mouth. Tears everywhere. He said her name. He asked the question. And she nodded so fast she almost forgot to breathe. That's what had happened. Her phone vibrated once. She didn't notice. Too much noise. Too much happiness. Then it vibrated again. Her smile faded just slightly. She glanced down. And everything slowed. People were still cheering. Someone popped a bottle. But her face changed. Because happiness doesn't disappear loudly. It drains. Her eyes moved. Reading. Watching. Listening. And then she stopped smiling. She didn't scream. She didn't throw the ring. She just looked at him. Longer than anyone should. He noticed. Hey, he laughed nervously. What's wrong? She handed him her phone. No words. Just the screen. His face changed immediately. The smile collapsed. Color drained. His mouth opened then closed. Because he knew. He knew exactly what it was. The crowd felt it before they understood it. Laughter faded. Music lowered. Whispers replaced cheers. Someone said, "Is this part of it?" But it wasn't. She took a step back. Removed the ring. Placed it in his hand, and said one sentence that cut through everything. How long was I temporary? He didn't answer, because lies don't survive their own voice. By morning the videos were gone. The live streams had ended. Stories expired. Phones stopped buzzing. But the damage didn't disappear with the noise. He didn't post anything. Neither did she. People noticed. Friends asked questions that didn't get answers. And for the first time in a long time, I woke up without a heavy feeling in my chest. Not happy. Just calm. I didn't feel victorious. I felt finished. That afternoon, my phone rang. His name. I let it ring. Then he texted. We need to talk. I waited. Not to be cruel. But because urgency was never mine anymore. We met in a quiet cafe. Neutral ground. He looked smaller. Not physically. Emotionally. He didn't apologize right away. People rarely do when they're still shocked. Instead he said, "Why would you do that?" I took a sip of my drink and said calmly, "You mean why did I tell the truth?" He looked down. I was going to end things the right way. I nodded. That's what you said in the video too. That you just needed time. Silence. Then he whispered, "I didn't think you'd actually use it." That's when I realized something important. He never regretted what he did. He regretted losing control of the ending. I stood up. "I didn't ruin your proposal. I corrected your story and I left." She didn't take him back. Not because of me. Because of him. Trust, once cracked publicly, doesn't quietly heal. Friends stopped inviting him places. Not dramatically. Just slowly. People don't like being lied to, especially when they realize they were cheering for it. As for her, she sent me one message weeks later. "Thank you for letting me choose with the truth." I didn't reply. Some thank yous don't need answers. I didn't glow up overnight. I didn't suddenly become fearless. But I stopped shrinking. I stopped explaining myself. I stopped accepting love that felt conditional. I learned something no one teaches you. Closure doesn't come from answers. It comes from alignment, from knowing you didn't abandon yourself. Revenge isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's patient. Sometimes it's just telling the truth at the exact moment someone can no longer run from it. If someone calls you temporary, believe them. And remember, you don't need to scream to be heard. You don't need to destroy to be powerful. And you don't need permission to walk away with your dignity intact. Midnight didn't change his life. It gave it back to me. If this story made you feel something, pause for a second. Not every betrayal ends with shouting. Some end with silence and strength. If you've ever been called temporary, if you've ever watched someone rewrite your place in their story, you're not alone. This channel is for the ones who stayed quiet and walked away with their dignity. If the story stayed with you, subscribe, not for revenge, but for truth, and tell me in the comments, what would you have done at midnight? Your story might be the next one told here.